They told you women want a man with money, so you chased it. You upgraded your car, flexed your status, and dropped dinner bills that made your wallet cry, just to keep her attention for a little longer. But here's the harsh truth: if money were enough, billionaires wouldn't get divorced. It's not your career, not your looks, not even your charm. It's your ability to stay grounded while she's drowning in waves of doubt, fear, or passion. Because while the world teaches women to express, release, and react, what they truly yearn for is someone who doesn't get pulled in, someone who doesn't flinch. Picture this: she's spiraling, overwhelmed by stress, by insecurity, by her own storm, and you remain still, unbothered, stoic. In that moment, you become her anchor, not by fixing her emotions, but by refusing to be enslaved by them. Most men do the opposite. She cries, they panic. She withdraws, they chase. She tests, they collapse. That's not love, that's volatility. That's emotional dependency disguised as affection. But a stoic man, he embodies what Marcus Aurelius called the tranquility that comes from a well-ordered mind. She doesn't want you to be perfect. She wants to feel safe in your presence. And safety isn't soft. It's strength under pressure. It's consistency when everything else feels uncertain. It's the man who can hold her gaze without trembling when she throws her worst mood at him. It's the man who says nothing, but his silence screams, "I'm not afraid of your chaos." Emotional stability isn't passive, it's magnetic. It tells her, without a word, that you are in control. Not just of her, but of yourself. And here's what most guys don't understand: when you become the emotional regulator in her life, you become the man she subconsciously clings to. You don't have to say you're different. She'll feel it in your breath, your eyes, your energy. You stop reacting to every test. You don't try to fix her storms. You let them pass like weather, and she realizes you're not weather. You're the mountain. Most relationships fail not because of lack of love, but because the man collapses when emotions rise. He trades steadiness for approval. He abandons his frame just to keep the peace. But peace never comes from weakness. Peace comes from power, inner power. And it's that power that separates a forgettable man from the one she calls when her world is falling apart. So yes, wealth might impress her for a moment, but emotional stability, that's what she returns to, over and over again. But don't get it twisted. Being calm isn't enough. Not if she can predict your next move, because predictability is safe, and safe is boring, and the man who's only safe is never unforgettable. But here's the thing: being stable doesn't mean being dull. In fact, once she knows she's safe with you, her instincts crave something else: uncertainty. Not the toxic kind, not the kind that comes from emotional games or flackiness. Women wouldn't cheat on high-income husbands with jobless bartenders. And you wouldn't be here still wondering why the guy with half your success gets twice the obsession. It's not about the money, it never was, but the kind that makes her eyes linger a little longer, her mind wander after you've left, her body tense in anticipation of what you might say next. Because here's the truth: once a woman can fully predict you, she unconsciously stops needing you. She craves what she can't quite grasp. And that's why mystery is power. Every man shows up trying to prove himself. They list their job, their dreams, their hobbies, their favorite quote on their dating profile. But the man she obsesses over, he reveals nothing and everything at once. He says just enough to spark her curiosity, but never enough to satisfy it. He's not rude. He's not distant. He's just unreadable. Like a novel she can't put down because she never knows what the next page will bring. That's why the Stoics were so captivating. Men like Seneca, who said, "No man was ever wise by chance," understood that silence wasn't emptiness, it was control. When you speak less, you become more. When you stop explaining yourself, she starts creating theories. And that's the trick. She's not falling for you. She's falling for the version of you her mind can't stop constructing. Emotional contrast is the invisible string that binds desire. Tension and release, warmth and withdrawal, certainty and question marks. One moment you're present, calm, composed, insightful. The next you're distant, unreadable, absorbed in your purpose. And in that shift, her emotions surge. Her logical brain may tell her to move on, but her body won't listen. Why? Because you've triggered a loop, the same loop that made her fall for the ex who never gave her closure. The same loop that keeps her rereading your last message. Predictable men get replies. Unpredictable men get remembered. You don't chase attention. You command it by being a puzzle worth solving. But don't mistake mystery for manipulation. You don't fake depth. You live it. You read, think, train, build. You become the man with layers. The man whose eyes hint at stories untold. The man who's been places and isn't in a rush to impress her with every detail. And the more she learns, the more she realizes she still hasn't figured you out. That's what keeps her invested. That's what makes her crave your presence. Not because you gave her everything, but because you held something back. A man with no mystery is a man with no magnetism, but a man who keeps a part of himself out of reach. He becomes unforgettable. So ask yourself, when she looks at you, is she certain she knows who you are? Or is she wondering what else you're not saying? Because when she stops wondering, she stops wanting. So you've learned to stay grounded. You've embraced your mystery. What women actually crave, what they can't resist, even if they don't consciously admit it, has nothing to do with your bank account and everything to do with how you make them feel. You see, money can buy gifts, comfort, and temporary distraction, but it cannot buy emotional gravity. But there's one more trap waiting in the shadows, and it's one most men fall into without realizing. It's the trap of overgiving, of trying too hard, of doing too much. It starts innocently. You like her, so you want to show her. You buy the gifts, plan the dates, text first, compliment constantly, always available, always agreeable, always giving. But slowly, without warning, she pulls away. You're left confused. You think, I gave her everything. Why wasn't that enough? And here's the answer. It's because you gave her everything. You left nothing for her to earn, to chase, to wonder about. In your quest to impress, you stripped the game of tension. You took away her opportunity to invest. And that's the ultimate paradox. By giving too much, you end up with nothing. Epictetus once said, "He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing." Women don't fall for generosity. They fall for energy, for value, for selective power. Overgiving is often a mask for insecurity. It screams, please don't leave. Please see me. Please love me. And no woman stays attracted to a man who pleads beneath the surface. Because now you're not a mountain, you're a fountain. Predictable, constant, overflowing, and boring. Real attraction is rooted in restraint, in knowing when not to text, in choosing when to show up, in understanding that your time, your attention, your presence is a gift, not a default. You see, women don't want a servant. They want a man of value, a man who gives because he chooses to, not because he has to. A man whose yes means something, because he's not afraid to say no. Overgiving erodes the very thing that makes you desirable, your boundaries. And without boundaries, you become background noise. There's a reason why women fantasize about emotionally grounded men who live with intention, not men who orbit them like lost moons, but men who move like stars on their own axis with gravity. And when he looks at her, when he chooses her, it matters. Because it wasn't automatic, it wasn't desperate, it was earned. That's what she remembers, that's what she respects. So stop thinking that more is more. More texts, more effort. Start thinking like a Stoic, deliberate, disciplined, measured. Because the truth is, a man who needs to overgive is a man who doesn't believe he's enough without it. But the man who knows his value, he gives with power, he gives with precision, and most importantly, he never gives himself away. You've held your emotions, you've protected your mystery, you've stopped overgiving. Now comes the force she can't resist. Even if she wanted to. It's not dominance. It's not charm. It's not even seduction. It's something bigger. It cannot make her sit in silence at 2 a.m., replaying the moment you looked her in the eyes and didn't flinch. It cannot buy the tension of mystery, the thrill of your unavailability, or the intoxicating pull of your purpose. Something deeper. Something she can't touch, but she can feel the moment you walk into a room. Your mission. You see, a man without a mission becomes a man whose entire world revolves around her. And at first that might feel flattering, but slowly it suffocates her. She becomes the purpose, the direction, the only goal. And when a woman feels like she's the center of your universe, she begins to drift away. Because deep down, she doesn't want to be your reason. She wants to witness you chasing one. That's the third thing women cherish far more than money: your alignment with something greater than her. A Stoic man doesn't live to impress. He lives to embody purpose. Epictetus said it best. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. She wants to feel that she's walking beside a man who's already in motion, a man who wakes up with clarity, who moves with direction, who doesn't get lost in her emotions because his compass doesn't break with the wind. She doesn't want a king who abandons his kingdom to sit beside her all day. She wants a king who governs his life with intention and invites her into that empire. Most men lose women not because they lack affection, but because they lack obsession with something bigger than love. A craft, a purpose, a legacy, something that makes them magnetic. You become attractive the moment she realizes she's not your oxygen. You're already breathing, you're already building, you're already living, and she's not needed but wanted. That distinction changes everything. The man who has no direction folds into her. He adjusts, he conforms, he loses his edges. And one day she wakes up and wonders where the man she once admired went. But the man who's anchored in mission, he never loses shape. He doesn't need her to validate his worth. He needs only alignment with his values, his time, his energy. And in that space of grounded movement, she finds something rare, a man she cannot control, but deeply respects. And when respect enters, desire follows. Because now she's not wondering if you'll chase her. She's wondering if she can keep up. Not every man needs to be a philosopher or an emperor, but every Stoic man needs a reason to wake up beyond chasing attention. So what are you building? What's the vision pulling you forward? What would continue to exist in your life if she walked away tomorrow? Because the second she realizes that your world wouldn't collapse without her, she'll do everything she can to be a part of it. In the modern world, men are taught that value comes from external power, the salary, the house, the watch. But in the ancient world, the Stoic world, value came from internal mastery, from restraint, from presence, from stillness. So now you know emotional stability and mistron, three elements no credit card can swipe, no luxury car can mimic, no bank account can replicate. And yet they hold more value than any status symbol you'll ever wear. Why? Because money impresses the eye. But these three speak to the nervous system. They don't make her say, wow. They make her feel something deep in her gut she can't explain. And that feeling, it lingers, it haunts, it draws her back even when logic says walk away. Here's what no one tells you: women don't choose the richest man. They choose the one who makes them feel richest. Rich in emotion, security, intrigue, alignment. The man who gives her something money can't buy, something that keeps her awake at night long after the gifts have faded. It's easy to rent attention. It's hard to earn gravity, and gravity can't be bought, it's built. Built through presence, through discipline, through direction. The man who's emotionally stable gives her peace. The man who's mysterious gives her stimulation. The man on a mission gives her inspiration. Stack those three, and you don't chase women. They orbit you. They want proximity not because of what you give, but because of what you emanate. Let's be clear, money isn't evil. Wealth isn't the enemy. But without depth behind it, it's empty noise. A shallow man with money is a moment. A Stoic man with mission is a memory. Women don't fall for numbers. They fall for nuance, for energy, for frequency. You become unforgettable not by owning more, but by needing less. Because nothing is more attractive than a man who could have everything, but still moves with restraint, still chooses simplicity, still honors his path over performance. She may smile at the man who spoils her, but she stays with the man who grounds her, the one who walks with stillness, the one who lives with reason, the one who moves through the chaos of life and never lets it shake who he is. That's the man she remembers, That's the man she respects. And that's the man she'll never want to lose. But none of it matters, none of it, if you don't learn how to apply it. Because knowledge is potential. Action is transformation. And what comes next will separate those who just listened from those who truly evolve. So how do you live this? How do you move from theory to embodiment, from knowing the secrets to becoming the man she can't ignore? The answer isn't in another trick or another tactic. It's in repetition, in practice, in small, quiet acts of self-discipline that over time turn into unshakable presence. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." And that is the kind of man women chase. The one who needs nothing, the one who owns himself. You can't seduce a woman with what every other man tries to buy her. Because Stoicism isn't a philosophy to read. It's a structure to live inside. Start with your mornings. Before the world grabs your attention, take 5 minutes to check your mind. Ask, what emotions are driving me today? What can I control? What must I let go? Remind yourself, I am not owed comfort, I am not owed attention, I am responsible only for my actions. That alone separates you from 99% of men. When she texts, don't respond on impulse. When she pulls away, don't panic. When life tests you, don't shatter. Watch yourself. Breathe slower. Speak with intention. Move with silence. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, don't. When you want to chase, pause. When you're tempted to prove something, ask why. That's Stoic practice. It's subtle, invisible to the world, but magnetic to anyone who feels it, because women don't need more words. They need more weight, and weight comes from stillness, from emotional control, from the ability to pause in chaos and remain composed. Your presence should say, I'm not here to perform, I'm here to embody. And if you want something practical, here it is. Every night before you sleep, reflect on this. Did I remain grounded today, or did I let emotion guide me? Did I protect my mystery or overshare out of insecurity? Did I prioritize my mission, or did I bend my values for approval? If you can ask those 3 questions daily, you will evolve faster than men who chase formulas all their lives. Because attraction isn't about being liked. It's about being remembered. It's about being rare. A man who stands where others shake. A man who listens when others react. A man who doesn't beg to be chosen, because he already chose himself. That's the Stoic advantage. That's how you rise above noise. So now the only question left is this: will you start applying it? Or will you go back to chasing attention with empty hands? If this message resonates, type, I receive it, in the comments. Not for me, for yourself. To affirm that you're no longer chasing illusions, but building essence. And if you're ready to walk this path daily, subscribe. Because this isn't about impressing women. This is about remembering who you are before the world made you forget. Stay sharp, stay stoic, and let them chase. You seduce her by embodying something no money can replicate: emotional certainty, psychological depth, and unwavering purpose. And the deeper truth. Most men will never understand this, because they're too busy performing, too busy impressing, too busy buying what can never be bought. But you're not most men, not if you're here. Because if you pay attention, I'll show you the 3 things women cherish far more than wealth, and how Stoic wisdom helps you become the man who holds them all. The first one is so subtle, so often missed, that it separates the man she texts once from the man she can't stop dreaming about. Now that you know money isn't the answer, here's what most men still overlook: the emotional battlefield where true attraction is won or lost.